Yo, what is going on, everybody? It is Saturday night and next podcast is live. Guys, we almost have the entire family here. We're missing like one, two, three people. Three people from the next like podcast family. But this is going to be an incredible show. Guys, it is good to see you there in the chat. All the people who come in early, hang out, and listen to my 10 minutes of music or whatnot. Yeah, I saw that, Mojo. But, guys, we got to get into it, and we can't get into it until we do the intros. So, first off, I am going to introduce the gameplay winner from last week, the man that you want having your back in Battlefield 5, Predator!
Yo, what's going on? It's funny you mentioned Battlefield 5. I've not touched that game at all this week. It's been all about finishing up Assassin's Creed, which is a lot fucking longer than I thought it was. So, and I'm actually on one of the last things right now as we're doing the podcast. I'll pause it. I'll finish it up tonight and have some nice gameplay for next week when I get ready to take that victory again.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, Pred, you're not in it. You can see Predator's gameplay going right now. What do you think? How does that look with the diamonds falling all around it? Man, do you approve of the winning kind of like format for your game?
Of course I approve. It's got my name. It's got winning gameplay on there. Why would I be upset about
Nice. Yo, nice, brother. Next on the list, he decided that he was going to show up just because he wants to talk about one game. And you know what? He forced me. We are going to do it. He used to save the world. He used to save the world on a daily basis. He got tired of that. He went out there and started saving other planets in space. Dark Optimus!
What's up, everybody? Happy to be here, man. You know, ready to get into these topics. Ready to talk about some games, dude.
What are some of the planets that you have saved in the last couple weeks? Do you have names?
I can't discuss these things that you say.
Did you save Uranus, though?
I did save Uranus.
I just had to, man. Also, I went back to like 5th grade for a second.
Of course you did.
Yeah.
He's saving that anus for his prison inmate.
Wow!
That's smart, Fred.
Hey.
That's how he's going to sound in prison.
I was saying, Otter, don't.
Be tight.
Yeah, I was gonna say Otter's getting angry already, man. This is like 2 minutes in, but
yeah, I missed you guys. Not really, but you know.
Yeah, you did until the Otter sounds came, and then
yeah,
you're like,
pretty much.
Oh, fuck, yeah. But no, it's good to have you back in, man.
Yeah,
man,
definitely, bro.
But we got to move on to next on the list. Yes, he has a brand new name, and he decided he was going to show up tonight too. Guys, it is time for everybody to stand up, show that respect, kiss that ring. The Dusty Don? Dusty Don? No, the Don!
Yeah, don't mess up that intro. People have been waiting a whole month for it now.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I'm here. I said I would commit at least once a month, and this is the once a month. I was planning to be here earlier, but apparently not enough plumbing parts have showed up for my PC at the time. So now I'm good to go.
Yeah, I heard your new PC has a couple added pieces of hardware. Something about 2 pumps or something like that going right now. So
yeah, two pumps, 2 reservoirs, and K-Mega's gonna like this. It is cooled by this coolant that looks like yak's milk. So
oh no,
Nice.
oh no, that is truly a quote unquote the Don setup right there, man. But it's good to have you on. We are going to dive deep into the topics. I do have to get through, like I said, the rest of the intros. Coming live from the 405. And you know, he's just trying to talk to the intelligent gamers out there. My brother, K-Mega!
Absolutely, man. Welcome, everyone. Glad that you guys are here and to feast your eyes on the winning gameplay for this week. Pred, congratulations for your barely win.
You barely win. Oh, no.
I mean, win is a win. Thank you. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, but I guess in all actuality, in the real world, you know what I'm saying, your sorry-ass Dallas Cowboys did beat the Saints, got my Rams to first place. Thank you. And also Texas, down, stick them down with them horns. OU Big 12 championships. Hopefully, we'll get into the playoff, all of that good stuff. So I'll go ahead and take that. The Thunder won last night. I mean, everything's looking good, placement, and all that. So let's get this show going, man.
Yo, man, Mega, what happened to Mega when I was gone? He got all bitter.
You know, Mega, like, not for anything, we are not sponsored or endorsed by ESPN, so I don't know why you're throwing all this college football and football stuff in there. OKC Thunder, you know the Thunder ain't even, they're not even going to come out the West.
And then
like
you know he has to talk shit about Pred's gameplay, too, you know? It's just like, come on, bro.
I mean, listen,
you
fellas,
bitter.
listen.
You bitter. It's fine.
Nobody's bitter. Nobody's bitter. I'm just doing my thing, man. I'm coming, man. I'm coming for the throats, man.
All right.
Battlefields got me anxious.
Man, let's move on. I don't want to listen to this.
Yeah, no doubt, man. We got one more intro to go through, and some people out there might think I saved the best for last. He is the Rookie of the Year. His YouTube channel is catching absolute fire right now. I see people out on Twitter talking about it. He is close to 100 subscribers. You know you want to go sub to this man, Knoxximus!
Yo, what's good, everybody, man? How's everybody doing today, man? It's gonna be nice. I want to get into these topics. Let's get it cracking, man.
Nice, brother. Nice, brother. Now, I did have a plan of how I wanted to start this, but since, you know, the Angry Otter has come and decided that he was going to hold off on saving the world one more time to be on the show, Darksiders 3 has released. Yeah, that's right, people in the chat. It's already out there. I didn't know it either. So, and I haven't seen anybody talk about it or put screenshots, anything like that out there. But it has released. I did see some early gameplay on a YouTube channel called Funhouse, and it actually looked a lot better than the previous ones. It looked like it flowed really well, and it looked like the gameplay was solid. But besides Dark, has anybody else picked up Darksiders 3?
Nope.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, Dark did.
That's why I said, I was like, you don't have to talk about it, man.
Well, no, I know.
I honestly didn't even know it was out.
I know K Mega was interested in it. Yeah, that's the only thing when it comes to this. Like, it was like a sneaky release. Like, I know they gave it a release date, but you didn't really hear anything about it on its release date. But Dark, have you got in? Have you had a chance to get in and play this game?
Oh, dude, I've been playing it for quite a while. Ever since it launched, I was playing it. It's a great game, man. Like I enjoy Darksiders, so like for me, it's definitely a fan favor to the fans of the game of the series. There is a lot of stuff that's, you know, it's buggy. I will say it is a buggy game.
Hold on, is it as buggy as Fallout 76?
No, not at all. Okay. Not even close to that. Like and some of these reviews, like they're a little too harsh. Like I think like the GameSpot review was really harsh. I think they kind of went overboard on that one. The gameplay is really solid. I mean, I haven't had too much problems with the gameplay. I mean, I've had a few stutters here and there with frame rate. But it's not when I'm like doing combat or anything like that. It's mostly like when I'm just running through the world and doing all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I hear like the setup of the world is different than what you would see in most games. Like you're basically
it is, yeah.
You'll bypass like bosses that you're gonna see like a couple hours down the line. You just can't get to them yet, and it's pretty much like a big world that you're kind of like weaving through, right?
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were kind of upset with this game because they thought it was going to be more of an open world like Darksiders 2 was, and this isn't. This is more linear. It's more. It's still kind of open world in a way because you can still explore and stuff and do things like that, but it's a lot more. You know, go here, do this.
Like a God of War open world, like God of War.
Yeah.
Okay, I can see that. So all in all, it's a $60 game, right? It has come out. I see Sleepy Goblin has said that he's pretty much halfway through it. How far have you gotten so far, man?
I'm probably about halfway, somewhere around there.
So you and Sleepy are right in the same spot then. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice. Would it be? Would you suggest for people to pick it up? Are the bugs? Do you think that the bugs might?
I would let the bugs hash. I would let them hash out a few of the bugs first. I would let them, hash out the frame rate a little bit too, because they have said on Twitter that they're working on that. And that they're working on the bugs as well. They did do a patch a couple days ago that fixed some of the bugs that people were having on the Xbox One. I think people are looking at this game and thinking it's a AAA game. It's not a AAA game. It's a AA game. It's not something like God of War, where you're gonna get this, huge, time out of it, and you're gonna be like, oh my god, this is a freaking amazing game. No, it's a good game. I enjoy it. But I'm a fan of Darksiders.
Is it a reflection of the quality of the previous games?
That's what I was just thinking too.
Yeah, I mean it is. It's definitely. I mean, even the quality of the other games, they had problems too. They had their bugs. They had their frame rate problems as well. Like on the 360, like I remember Darksiders 2 being kind of the frame rate was kind of sluggish. It's kind of a game that kind of takes you back to like the 360 era, and I mean that's not for everybody, of course. Not everybody likes that kind of type of action adventure type of game, but for me, like at that moment, it was like I'm done with Red Dead Redemption 2. I finished that, and I was like, what am I gonna play now? I'm all like thinking to myself, I could play Battlefield 5. I could play Battlefield 5. I could play Red Dead Online, but I'm not really an online kind of guy with that kind of game. I'm more, first-person shooter when it comes to multiplayer. But then I was like, well, Darksiders 3 is coming out, so I'll pick it up, see what it's like, and I'm enjoying it a lot. I mean, it's definitely a good game.
You like what's her name? The main character is Fury, right?
Right.
Yeah, you like her hair physics above all else, right? The way.
Right. Exactly.
Okay,
Yeah.
I got you, brother. I got you.
No, I mean, if you're a fan of Darksiders, definitely give it a try. I mean, I know a lot of people are comparing it to Dark Souls. It's not Dark Souls. Like I can tell you right now, like that whole statement about it being like Dark Souls is completely wrong. It's
like a classic like hack and slash, like old school God of War, right?
Yeah. Why are they comparing it to Dark Souls? What difficulty wise?
The difficulty, right? Exactly, the difficulty. But that's the thing, the difficulty.
Who's getting grinded?
That's Predator right there, man.
I think that's. I think it's.
I mean, I could have took the week off.
But the last thing,
bullshit talk. Let's go.
The last thing I'm gonna say. The last thing I'm gonna say is that it's not like Dark Souls. It has its challenge to it, but it's not Dark Souls challenge at all.
Yo, just to let you know, Dark. Even though these guys are clowning you, I was really interested in what you were saying. So we'll just leave it at we'll leave it at that, brother, man.
You lost me at Darksiders.
We'll talk about it more.
So me and Bot have this perspective. Our gamer tags are listed below. You can gift us that game. We are interested in that game. So
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if
now the whole panel's like, I love Darksiders.
Definitely wait for a sale though on the game. If you're not into it or you're kind of into it, but you're kind of like hesitant about it, wait for a sale. Definitely.
I can definitely see the improvement over the previous kind of like installments on. I guess we could call it a franchise now, right? I mean, they came out with 3 of them. I guess you could call it a franchise.
Do you think they're going to do a 4th?
I don't know. I hope so.
Because there's the one more horseman they have to get, right?
They got to at least do 4.
Yeah, there is a 4th one. He's in the game. I've watched some gameplay of it. He looks
honestly,
dope too.
Honestly, I think they will make a 4th one. I think they will. It's THQ. They kind of they don't really kind of.
You already know what the 4th horseman looks like already.
Yeah.
They show him
because that was unique to the other ones. You didn't really know. You had like this weird kind of like they had this silhouette image of all the horsemen, and so kind of got a rough idea what they were. but you
I
didn't
can't
really get to
believe
see
you
him
got
until the
that
game came
shot
out.
in there, man. I'm sorry. I was watching as I was listening to you. I'm still watching Predator's gameplay, and that
was a
scope
long-ass
shot, man,
shot.
that was insane, dude.
What are you talking about? Oh,
Airstrike in right here. Watch this shit.
Talking about the winning gameplay from last week,
What
brother.
are you doing? Are you ordering a pizza in this game? What is going
A
on?
pizza bomb.
Is that a Zach Morris phone right there?
All right,
They
guys.
call it
Well,
an airstrike.
let's move on to the next topic. Let's get into some Red Dead Redemption 2. Because our brother Knoxximus came out with a video, and it was really interesting, man. Not only was it entertaining, definitely entertaining, but it was really interesting. He was talking about something called a power curve. I don't know, Knox, do you want to let people know just kind of like a quick rundown what we're talking about with Red Dead? What's going on with PlayStation and the users, and then I'll kind of like swing it around from there, man.
All right. So according to this article, 40% of PlayStation users in the last month have not gotten past Chapter 3 of Red Dead Redemption 2. I mean, and this article is blaming it on the lack of a power curve, right? Meaning that they don't have anything to play towards. They don't have any reason to. They're not going to grow in power.
Like a level up type thing, right?
Yes, they're not growing in power. They're not getting, you know how in Zelda you get your hearts and you get more equipment. You know, in Assassin's Creed you level up. And I get it. I get that games follow this formula. And you know, it's common practice, so I understand. But they're saying that that's the reason why players aren't engaged. I couldn't disagree more, because Red Dead is it just what Rockstar was going for, at least in my opinion, the way I feel when I play it, they're delivering something grander than just a grind for power and items. I know that that's normally what we play for, and I get it, but that isn't the case with Red Dead. The reason that PlayStation 4 owners, because it was actually narrowed down to PlayStation 4 owners above everyone else. It wasn't Xbox.
Oh, here comes the winning gameplay right here. Oh, sorry, my bad, yeah.
It's rigged.
Definitely rigged.
Yeah, but you know, the article is trying to say that if it doesn't entice players to want to continue and progress through the story and see it through fruition, see it the whole outcome, see Arthur's whole story. I couldn't agree more. Every time I complete a chapter, I am the way that they deliver the story to me. It just makes me want to. It's just like when that cliffhanger episode, right? When you just finished, you're binge watching a show, and you just get to that episode, right at the end, that you're intent, you're going to sleep, you got to go to work the next day, but damn it, it just teased you right there when you just want to see the next episode, right? You just like, that's the way I feel with the missions in Red Dead. Every time I finish one, I want to move on to the next one. And not only that, what makes it difficult is that I get caught up in just doing other stuff. Like, I want to go to the next mission, right? I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna go there. On my way to that mission, I'm somebody who come and flag me down, hey buddy, you wanna help me out here? I got bit by a snake. Ain't nobody sucking no poison out his leg, but I'll give homeboy a medicine, you know what I mean? Or somebody challenged me to a race, and I tell him, hey man, I don't feel like racing. He talks to me sideways, so I set him on fire with a Molotov cocktail. Those are the little things that's what that game offers. That other great games. Yes, I understand that's the structure of games, like The Legend of Zelda and The Witcher 3, one of my favorite games of all time. Assassin's Creed Odyssey, one of my favorite series is Assassin's Creed, and I get that they do these things, but that people are not playing it because of a power curve, I disagree. They're not playing it because they got the attention span of a moth, and everybody, I don't know, this ADHD. Yeah, man.
So wait. You mean to tell me the people who've been touting single player games and single player experiences are playing a single player game because they can't level up?
Apparently.
But hold on.
Apparently, a good story, a very entertaining and engaging and engrossing story isn't enough for you.
Right here. This is ill. This gameplay right here is ill. But dude, I gotta ask Knox. Like, I played GTA 5, and I played the single player. I beat the game and everything like that. Like, I gotta ask, is 40%, like a month after the game is released, is 40% really like that bad that they haven't gotten halfway through yet?
Well,
In your opinion, man? I don't.
I mean, dude, it's almost half. It's almost half their player base, right? If they're going by 40%, so I mean,
Are they talking about players or people who actually bought the game?
well, people that actually bought the game,
Okay.
players that actually bought the game.
Okay, so 40% of people who bought Red Dead.
That's pretty normal for story-based games.
But 40% are not getting past
Yeah.
chapter 3.
Yeah, they're halfway through a game. Yeah, that's pretty normal.
That's like saying 40% of people didn't get past the first chapter in God of War because they didn't have the Chaos Blades yet.
No, I'm serious. This does happen. This is an ongoing issue within the industry. So this is not like exclusive to PlayStation or Xbox or anything like that. I'm saying, what was it? Amy Henning was talking about this, and she's talked openly about this. Cliffy B's talked about this. This is a challenge within the industry they don't know how to get past in regards to that. Now, I see what you're saying with like I don't agree with the power curve thing. I honestly think the first half of the story of Red Dead is not great. Matter of fact, K Mega knows when I was in parties with him, man, I'm like, I don't know about this game. Like, I've seriously been trying, and I had to like muscle through it. Eventually, it got better, and I'm glad I stuck it out. But about halfway through it, I just wasn't feeling the game either. I think the game was just kind of slow and boring to start off with.
But then what is then who's at fault here though? Is it the gamer? Because then
I don't think anyone's at fault or anything like that. I think that's just like pointing fingers. But certain games are just not going to be for everybody. And the question is like, is it a bad thing? Because you played through it, right? So all that slow start is a big setup for the game later. So it does have a payoff. The question is,
but it does pick up, and what the article is implying, is that it does not pick up due to lack of a power curve, and I have to disagree because it does pick up despite this, and
it picks up because of the story. I agree with that. I'm saying is,
but I still feel badass. Your dead eye does evolve. Your stamina does evolve. If you throw yourself in the water,
that's all secondary to what this game is. At its core, all that stuff, the stamina going up, your dead eye going up, it's all actually secondary.
But what I'm saying is about that it is there, and the article implies that it isn't there, or that it's non-existent, or that it's minuscule, and that's not the case.
I think they're blaming it on things they don't understand. I think if it comes to right down to it in the article, I don't think
they're reaching. To be really honest with you, I have no idea why
I don't think there's any truth to what they're stating there. In regards to that, I would say it'd be interesting to talk to people that are saying, hey, I'm no longer interested in the game, or got distracted by another game that may have released or something like that. There's reasons why those gamers have decided not to continue to play it, or just don't have time to play it, or who knows what the reasons are. But the power curve, to drill it down to that, like that's just simply.
I don't know. I've heard several people say that they're not really into the game because of the power curve, because there's nothing there for them to actually grind out and get to that point. I don't think that's for everybody though. I don't agree with the article, but I have heard some people say that there's no real grinding to the game, so it doesn't make them want to keep playing it because there's nothing for them to.
But Dark, this isn't that type of game. You want to grind,
right? No,
you play some Destiny. You play some Destiny. You play some Division. You play some World of. You want to grind. You play those games,
right?
You want an engrossing, engaging story that's gonna satisfy you on that type of a level. You play The Witcher. You play. I mean, in The Witcher, you're gonna level up and you are gonna get stronger. But you do here too, and that's what I'm saying. It's not like Arthur is getting killed with one bullet. Come chapter 7.
Here's the thing: is they would have a valid argument if this wasn't a common statistic with games that have power curves that have a story, like roots or base to it. But the reality is the drop off is about the same. So they don't really have an argument on that. I mean, yeah, maybe it's representative of some players, but you can't say that's true for all 40%
Right.
of the people that are there. It just statistically doesn't make any sense.
I agree with you. I agree with you, Don, wholeheartedly. I agree with that. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm so against the article. Like you can't just put 40% of people in there. There have to be other reasons why they're not getting past.
Knox, let me throw in here. First off, this is I look at Red Dead Redemption 2, and like I said, at first I wasn't gonna play it. I'm not into cowboy stuff, but going in and playing the game, to me it felt like the progression was just like GTA 5, where it was about the story and how the story was panning out. Like you would want to play the game to see where you're going in the story. And I don't see anything different in terms of, it's a Rockstar game. I'm really confused, unless it is just kind of like grasping at straws, or they really couldn't find like anything else to talk about, that they just kind of made this up.
They had an article due on Wednesday is what it was. So
good one. But I agree.
But here's another thing. Like let's think about what are the possibilities, right? They lost interest, or all these things. Other games come out, or they're getting bored with it, or maybe they're so engrossed in this game and maybe trying other things other than the main story mission, which is known for Rockstar games, that they're not progressing because they're still playing the game, but they're not doing the story mission.
Well, see, and
they're hunting and doing all that stuff,
Exactly.
And I think the whole article about that, it's just like you said, it's something that they needed to get out there, in order to build some news out there, about the game. But I think a lot of it has to do with a lot of people don't really like playing story-based games anymore. They really like playing.
And you know what? And Dark, you just hit it. You hit the nail on the head right there, because like you said, it's in there. If you're one of those people that you just can't, like I said, this whole ADHD, like people can't focus, people just can't. You got to be all over the place, right? So okay, if you can't. If you can't just have a one-track mind and go from mission to mission to mission, that's why you can go fishing. That's why you can go hunting. That's why you can go rob a house. That's why you can rob a bank. That's why you can rob a train. That's why you can go kill the Ku Klux Klan.
Why Don's statement was true, because I think a lot of those people are probably just doing that. Because to hunt all those animals, like the legendary animals down, and to get everything, that's gonna take a while, man.
But you know what it is?
That's gonna take a lot of time.
The game doesn't hold your hand, right? The game doesn't tell you go do this, right? It doesn't give you those suggestions. You just they exist. They're there. It is an option for you. If you're burnt out on playing the story or playing side missions, go to the bar, man. Play some poker.
Knox, check this out. K Mega, you have been quiet on this subject, man. I got to know what do you think about this article here? Do you think that 40% is actually is something to write an article about? To me, I feel like it fits the game with all the extra stuff you can do, like Don said, and the way Rockstar puts their games together. And what do you think about them kind of blaming it on not having that level up power curve progression in the game, man?
No, it's just something that I agree with what Don was saying. I mean, we talked about this on the Dev and the Gamer, and about what Shannon Henney was bringing up, I think Amy Henney that brought up, and it was also with Mark Cerny, and they were making this discussion about it's crazy to them in a sense that gamers want single player games to get bigger and better, but the fact of it is that they don't complete these games at a high rate to show the progress of to show these developers that they need to put all of this extra stuff into games, because it seems like it's a waste of time. And then with these games, with these single player games, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, man.
Okay. And so since these games cost so much money to make, it almost feels like that they put their blood, sweat, and tears into this game, and that you only get like a percentage of 40% completion on these games. Whatever. I know when I beat God of War, back in that first month and a half of when the game was out, it was only at like 46%. But we're talking about the game that was considered the game of the year and one of the biggest games, and it's the biggest
game of the
PlayStation 4
millennia.
game.
What are you talking about,
Right.
brother?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like all of this hype, but I'm sure it's over 50% now. But at the time, like I was like, whoa, hold on. In the first month, that game should be popping. Like, I mean, this game is sold very well. This game should get a lot. It's getting all these accolades. You would think that there would be more people to beat that game, and they didn't. And it's the same thing with Red Dead. And to me, I think it's kind of crazy to talk about this whole level up thing, because I think Pred said it a couple of weeks ago. Oh, it was somebody on the panel that brought it up, was saying that once you do the leveling up in Spider-Man, you normally going to just be doing the same moves anyway. It's not like you're going to use those new assets that you get in the Spider-Man. People just get comfortable doing the same moves anyway, and that's it. So that seems like that's a contradiction as well. It's something that needs to be done, but I mean, if people don't want to beat their games and they just want to just play them and enjoy them, like with Red Dead, they give you so many options. I guarantee you that people are going to play the hell out of the online like they did with GTA 5 and just continue to play that game than more games that are completely single player that when you're done with it, you're done. You see what I'm saying? And then even if you get to a point where you get stuck and you may not want to go back to the game, and then there's so many other games coming, you might just forget about that game and it might just be put into that backlog.
Mega, I gotta say, like, I know as we get like further into generations and stuff.
Oh yeah,
like
watch
that,
me whoop the Don's ass. Yeah.
Oh no, that's the Don. I didn't even realize I was the Don.
Yeah, that's what I was doing. Me and Don was doing that.
No, Don, you picked the right time to do your once a month appearance, man.
Hey, when I win gameplay, it's not going to be a big deal.
All right, but my whole thing is this generation, man. Everything just like people want everything moving so fast. Like I remember in GTA 5, I got into the story. Everybody was like, "Oh no, online. What are you doing? Playing the story? You got to go online." And I went through and I beat the story. And I gotta say, there's something there with Rockstar and how they develop a story in a game. You know what I'm saying? So to me, 40% of people that bought the game on release a month later, are just getting like halfway through the game. That doesn't seem like a big deal to me at all. They're
no, but I think.
Well, you also got to remember that this is coming from a guy who doesn't like cowboys and Indians and all that stuff. So I mean, you got to take it with.
You gotta always think about that, man.
Exactly.
I think when Knox is bringing up why he brought up this point is because the people that have been so adamant about single player games, those people themselves are not beating the games at the clicks that they want you to believe. And for this article to try to kind of sidetrack it and say that, well, it's the developer's fault and not the gamer themselves. Well, if you got all of these cool things to do in these games, I guarantee you, like, okay, I've just got started with Assassin's Creed. I've just got like about an hour or two in it, right? Mm-hmm. I might not beat that game until next year.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing. So
Tell
it's
Predator
like,
that. He's trying to beat it now. Tell Pred.
Right. And I mean, I would like to see the completion rate of that game right now, while everybody's talking about, because that game's got nothing but power-ups and things like that.
Hey, Meg, I got one better for you. How about the completion rate of Witcher 3 as of last month? You guys want to know?
That was
you want to know how much it is?
What is it? What is it?
24%.
What?
And I'm in that 24. That 24.
I'm in it too. Shit.
I'm in that 24%.
So what does that tell you?
This is the current thing that we're talking about, right? So they're trying to make an article out of nothing.
Yeah.
Right. Like I said, it's a distraction to take away from what so many of these people have been trying to say and allude to about single player games, and it goes back to what Phil Spencer was saying, and for what other people in the industry were saying, EA and they got smashed and killed for it. Not saying what Phil was saying was right, but in a sense, when the market sees that these people aren't really going out there and these games getting all these accolades and they're not beating these games, then that kind of defeats the whole purpose.
No, I mean, not only that though, Mega, but you know what that inspires? That inspires Black Ops 4, which everyone is praising for its lack of a campaign mode, right? That's what Amy Hennig was saying, right? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, nobody wants campaign. Campaigns cost a lot of money to make, and if you're not going to appreciate the artistic value of the game, right? If you're not, then why them create it? Why spend the money on the voice acting? Why spend the money on everything that it takes, the development time, it's a lot of money to make these games, man. These are like motion pictures right now.
Well, here's the thing:
That's a
the metric that
dangerous
doesn't
slope
matter
right there,
is
man.
not
It
the
costs more
finish.
than motion pictures.
It's not really.
Yeah, it probably does. I'm sorry,
really-
Don. Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, it's really not the metric of what's finished that's really important. This is the reason why the industry is moving to engagement.
Yeah, but I don't like that. I don't like that because
It doesn't matter if you don't like it. The industry is moving
About
to
that money, dog.
for a reason.
That
'cause
money.
the reason why they're moving to engagement is okay. Let's say Mega just plows through a game and then Knox, he takes his sweet time with it. No big deal. You guys are still both playing it, but you're playing it from different rates. There's nothing wrong with that. But where it becomes an issue is where someone gets to a certain percentage in the game and they just straight up quit it. That leads to the game not doing well. That leads to people not referring that game to their friend. That leads to if they are going to do like a microtransaction model, that no one's going to spend money on it. So there's a reason why that metric overrules everything, and it's not really about when people are taking these. Hey, how many games have we finished? You're looking at the wrong thing. Are you keeping your customer engaged, and where are you losing your customer? And then what causes you to lose that customer? Because those numbers matter a lot more, and that allows developers to actually make better content. So those are the numbers that every developer should be looking at.
But you see, Don, and like you said right there, right? That makes them make better content. But in actuality, we're losing out because to me, Red Dead is great content. The Witcher 3 is great content. But statistically, 24% of people finish The Witcher 3. So what should CD Projekt Red do if they're just looking at projects?
But check this out. Hold on.
Margins, right? If
You're totally missing it. Here's what I'm saying is, if Witcher is keeping them engaged throughout the thing, it really doesn't matter if they're finishing the game or not. They're continuously engaged. They're doing well, but you don't know that metric. All you know is how many that's finished. If someone's spending a ridiculous amount of time in the game, then that game is doing well.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this.
When I'm
Me
seeing
watching
more and
this,
more companies straying away from wanting to make campaigns and wanting to make story-based games and just want to go into full-on mindless multiplayer stuff. And hey, I have a great time with multiplayer myself, man. I'm not, but I don't want to see that get lost. That's my position.
It's not going to.
I hope not.
There'll be less games that
hold
do
on.
it.
Games like God of War, all right, sold a hell of a lot, got a really high rating. A lot of people enjoyed it. Spider-Man is another game that sold a lot. There's a lot of people out there who enjoyed it. Those are single-player games. I don't think single-player games are going to go anywhere. I feel that this article, like the Don said, is like, oh man, we have to have something by Wednesday. It really confused me that people out there, gaming media, that they're supposed to know the history of like these developers and everything like that, right? You would know how Rockstar puts together games. You see what I'm saying? You would know. You play GTA 5. You know, you're a gamer talking about gaming news. So you would know kind of like the pedigree of the studio, and you would know that there isn't really a level up progression system when it comes to a Rockstar open world game.
But see, it'd be a real article if it did the who, what, when, where, and why, right? They're like, oh, a certain percentage of people only get this far. Why is that happening? Do a little homework. Figure out what's going on, what the gamers are doing.
I don't think that's a bad number, though. I feel like they're making news out of nothing, really. Like, it's just a typical thing. Like, if you look at it,
it's just stupid.
But it becomes a thing. It becomes something that people talk
dude,
about.
I think people are going to forget about this article.
Everybody says Xbox has no games, but then what the hell am I playing? Am I playing imaginary shit? What am I? Come on, guys.
Knox, turn your TV on. You're not playing anything.
I must not be. I must be on acid. I must be tripping when I'm playing shit.
All right. Let's move on.
All right. Well, yo, check this out. Pred, since you want to move on, we are going to stay with Red Dead Redemption, all right? And we're going to go into the online. The online was pretty much opened up for everybody, I believe, yesterday.
Yeah.
I didn't get a chance to get in. I did watch some of Rad Brad, like the beginning of going online and everything like that. And I gotta say, I'm interested. It looks like they're doing kind of like that GTA Online, but they're doing it Red Dead Redemption style. I don't know. Has anybody on the panel, Pred, you as well, has anybody on the panel got into the online for Red Dead Redemption yet?
I haven't touched it yet, to be honest with you. Like I've been playing some other stuff, trying to knock that out first. But I didn't get Red Dead for the online. I got it for the story.
Yeah, it's a bonus, right?
Yeah, it's an added bonus, and I think a lot of people are like thinking in their mind, they're thinking, "Oh, Red Dead, GTA, Red Dead," and they're trying to compare the online game for Red Dead to what GTA was doing, and I don't think it's gonna be that way. And again, I haven't seen any video, I've not played it, but I know in my mind, I took that out. I took that whole GTA 5 out of my head, and how that worked out for
That's
them.
hard
I
to
took
do,
it out.
though. That is hard
And
to do, though.
I did. I took it out completely because it's a different story. It's a different, environment, different time. It's totally different. So I wanted to go in with it with a fresh mind, which is one of the reasons why I'm trying to trudge through fucking Assassin's Creed right now, so I can jump on that and play it a little bit. But I don't know. I haven't played it. I'm not going to talk down on it. I haven't really heard much about it, to be honest with you, other than like some like small stories about like I guess how you level up in the game and like just riding your horse doing crazy shit that takes forever. But I mean, it's Red Dead. I mean, it's a slow game, so I don't know why people thought the online was just going to be like a fucking shootout the OK Corral. I mean, I don't know. I haven't played it, but I mean, I didn't get it for that, and I'll jump into it eventually to test it out and try it out. And I may love it when I get into it, but my expectations are low for it.
All right, I'll let everybody on the panel know, if you haven't seen the beginning yet, you start off that you're going to prison, and that's where you do kind of like your character customization. You're at like the local like sheriff's jail, and you pick either a guy or a girl. But when you get to prison, they pull you together into a group to go out and do some chain gang work or whatnot. Somebody stops that caged kind of horse carriage or whatnot, lets everybody go, and brings you with them. And they say at that point in time that basically you're an innocent man and you were wrongly accused. And this lady that paid to get you free from prison, to have you broken out of prison, basically gives you the task of figuring out who basically framed you, because they also killed her husband. So you're getting a story in GTA Online that I feel you'll be able to play with like your friends and stuff like that. I think that's awesome. And
what's the percentage to finish that story though?
I don't know, man. But the people have been complaining though. They have been.
Yes, they have. Yeah, I was playing. I was talking about it last night, complaining about it, and I just had to remind people, like, look, man, it's a beta.
See, that's the big thing right there. But
right.
what were some of the complaints, Mega?
The horse. I want to get a horse. Why I can't get the horse that I had in the story? Well, you can. Well, and then because it basically starts you completely over, because you're playing as your own character, not as any of the characters from the story mode. And then also it was wow, man, why is these guns and these things cost this much? And like, man, the game is meant for you to grind and to build and to work as a team and to go find stuff, and then work up and posse up. The game is, and that's what I kept having to just remind on that issue. There was a couple of other just like minor complaints, but it was mostly about the horse and then traveling from one end to the other. Why you got to buy a bow again? Why you got to do this? And character doesn't look like it. It's limited and things like that. I'm like, look, man, it's okay. Like over time, even if the game starts off limited when it does this online, just like with GTA 5. I mean, just look at how bad the online was when it first came out, and to what it is now. It's like a whole nother entity. It's like a whole nother game itself. So it's going to keep increasing and getting better. And like I said, this is just a beta, so it's not bad. I mean, look, I did the whole little tutorial part, got my first piece of treasure, got a little money, went out, I killed a deer, sold it, and then I see my camp and stuff, and then it gives you the point if you want. It asks you if you want to go solo or if you want to link up with some other people. So when I start linking up with some other people, when the game is ready, I'm not really caring about the beta, then I'll be ready to sink my teeth into it. But for right now, I think all this criticism is just ridiculous. I think people are just too impatient about everything. They want things to be perfect right off the bat, and
they want instant gratification.
Look, and when it's something that's man-made, human-made, I'm sorry, people, it's not going to be perfect. It's going to have to, people complain about patches and working on games, but if it wasn't for that, then you would have a broken Battlefield 4, or you would have a broken whatever. You know what I'm saying? So the fact of it is that patches and getting feedback that's not like just overly negative, it resonates with the people that's making the game because they want to make a better experience for you. So I mean, just you know what I'm saying? Just wait till the whole product is out before you knock a beta.
Yo, Mega, that's the thing. It is a beta. It even says it in big red letters when you go into it. It says beta.
Yeah.
Beta, even to the point where they're not even promising that you keep your progression once it leaves beta, because they're going to, try to implement changes, listen to gamers' feedback and everything like that. I have no idea why everybody's out there kind of like trying to pretty much just shit on it. When you see that big B word, it's not your glorified demo beta. It's really like you got to give feedback and let them know what you feel they can do better and stuff like that, and really mold this online experience out.
We've gotten so conditioned to seeing that word beta that people will start thinking that that's the final,
Yeah, well, there are times where it's a glorified demo. When you get a beta a week before the game comes out, there's no way in hell that they're going to make any major changes if something's wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the fundamental difference. The base game is already out.
Yeah.
And I think and that's why I think a lot of people have these expectations. Like, I bought the game, I own the game. Why am I not playing the final version of this? And I, maybe it's something to look at and take seriously as rock stars, that maybe this doesn't work for our customer base. And maybe it does. I mean, there's legitimate complaints there. I think if you spent money on something, and this is the reason why you bought the game more so than the story, and then the multiplayer is not up to par. I mean, it doesn't mean it's not going to work itself out. I'm pretty sure it's going to iron itself out, but I kind of see where those customers are coming from.
I personally like where they're going with this, as opposed to what happened with GTA 5 and GTA Online, because they just let it out. They didn't say anything about a beta, and there was a bunch of broken pieces in the online. There was people that couldn't get in there. They were stuck at the airport. They couldn't get past the first couple races to really open up the world. It was a beta, but not a beta. Yeah, it was and it was messed up for like a couple months, to be really honest with you.
I was a lot longer than that. I'm actually surprised that GTA Online survived all that.
I was able to get in first day, by the way. Oh yeah. But at least now they're letting people know it is a beta, and it's funny because I'm seeing a lot more anger now when they put the name beta, and I'm seeing a lot more anger now about what's going on, as opposed to when GTA Online came out, and there was people who were just like, "Oh, they'll fix it. It's gonna be okay. Don't worry about it." Like, I'm like, why do you think that is? Like now,
it's a boiling point thing. I think we run into this in gaming where people they'll give it a pass the first time. We're seeing a little bit of this, I think, with what is it, the game where you wear the onesie pajama and walk around and pretend it's a nuclear war.
Oh, Fallout.
Fallout, yeah.
Game of the year.
Fallout's seen that. But Fallout has been no different than any other Fallout. But you get to a certain point where somebody's a fan of the game, and they constantly are dealing with this, and they keep putting the faith and the hope that they won't launch games like that, and they're excited about it, and people get frustrated. I mean,
hold on,
hold on a second.
Because not for nothing, the difference between the difference between Rockstar and Bethesda when it comes to Fallout, because Bethesda's a quality studio. You know what I mean? I'm not going to take nothing away from them, right? They make Wolfenstein, Stein, whatever you want to call it.
Steenstein.
Right? There we go. They make Doom. Great. But they've been running with that old ass Elder Scrolls 2001 engine since 2001. And so hold on. So if customers want to keep buying their games, I stopped at Oblivion. I stopped at 4. I stopped at Elder Scrolls 4. I'm like, you know what, man? Skyrim got stellar reviews, right? Skyrim got awesome reviews. I didn't buy that shit. My man Beast, shout out to my man Beast 378. He gifted me that game. He said, yo, Knox, did you play it? I said, yo, I did the dungeon, my dude. I can't play that shit. That shit is dated. He swings the sword in 2 positions, up and down. Get out of here with that. Those animations are garbage. I can't do it, right? Like, so you seriously, I just couldn't.
Up and down.
Up and down. That's it. It just goes like floop, floop. It looks crazy. But whatever, right? I can't do it. Fallout fans, right? You bought 1, 2, 3, 4, Vegas 76. You know what you're getting. You can't really get tight, even though I think they should give you a quality product. But in when it comes to what Rockstar does, bro, Rockstar gives you a quality product all of the time.
That has nothing to do with what I was talking about.
Well, to me it does, because the difference is, my dude, that you're getting a quality product here, so you got your money's worth. Because I know people are gonna bitch and moan.
It still has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
No, but hold on, let me finish. You got your money's worth with just the core game, right? Just with Red Dead Redemption 2 campaign for $65. That game alone by itself, just that, no mode, right? No online mode, right? It to me was worth it. It was worth double.
Right? Oh damn! He's like, it was worth
that
double.
Still has nothing to do with what I'm talking about.
I would have paid $100 for that, right? I would have paid $100 for that. Now the online mode comes out. Everybody's gonna get critiqued like they didn't get their money's worth with Red Dead because the online has some issues, or it's in beta form, or what's going on? This is the part I was waiting for, which is what you were talking about, right? This is the part I was waiting for. This is the reason I bought the game. Well, if the reason you bought Red Dead Redemption 2 was for its online proponent, then you should have just waited for the online, or wait for it to evolve, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of like what Warframe did, right? Warframe evolved into a great freaking game that's free to play, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Just wait. Don't buy it now and then bitch about it because it's not done, because it's gonna become good. Mm-hmm. I think the online is gonna be good. Look.
Still not what I'm talking about.
All right, well then, Don, what exactly what are you talking about, Don?
I'm just saying, I'm trying to relate to the customers why they're upset. Okay, because we get into this situation where
it says beta. You shouldn't be upset right now.
But you just said it wasn't what you were talking about, but then you said because they were upset.
Listen, it requires you to listen a little bit for me to actually finish this sentence.
Monkey in the chat. What up, brother? Sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Like I'm trying to have an adult conversation here. Like, let's be real here. There are certain customers that don't know any better. They buy a product, they don't know what they're running into. So those people that are complaining, they should have a voice. I'm not there to shut those people up. I want to hear what they have to say and why they're upset, and I want to make a logical argument for that. I'm all about if a gamer wants to wait for a game and say, hey, it's not the right value for them at that time. I totally get that. But what I'm saying is, if a customer is buying something with a certain expectation and those things have not been made clear to those people, why are those people upset? And is a legitimate reason. And if it's a legitimate reason, they should be heard out. And I think when you buy a game, you spent the money, and you offer a beta later, that's a legitimate reason to be a little bit frustrated, because that is not the expectation on most games that launch. They don't usually offer a beta later. They offer maybe games as a service that grow or change over time, but they don't offer a beta for $60.
Don, I hear what you're saying. I hear exactly what you're saying, and for the most part, you're making sense. But we're talking about Rockstar, and you saw what they did with GTA 5 going into GTA Online. They are basically two different games. They put it out there that the single-player story came out first. That is that game. And they basically, when it came to GTA, they let people know that GTA Online is pretty much like its own game with its own progression, everything like that. You can basically divide them up, and you can have 2 games. And it's the same thing that they're doing with Red Dead Redemption 2. And then when it comes to the people who bought it, when you go to click on the game, unless you cannot read big red letters, it says beta. You see what? There's no excuse. No excuse. But they definitely, I know Rockstar wants to hear feedback. They definitely do, because they want to change it up, man.
Let me interject, please. I just want to say this. I think that Rockstar, since this is their second time doing this, I think they do this on purpose in a sense, because they want to hear the feedback of what's good, what's bad. It's something for the.
They want to see what they can get away with microtransactions. That's exactly what they're doing right now.
That could be true. I mean I'm not going to dispute that. But the thing of it is that I think what nobody's wrong here. I just looking at it from just everybody's perspective is that I think from the developer's perspective that they just want, Rockstar did this with GTA 5, and look at what their online is now. They're going to go with the same blueprint with this game, and they want to hear this feedback. I think that they encourage it because it leads to them. It gives them bigger ideas on what they want to do on top of what the fans want. And like you said, it could add to the microtransactions so they can feed off of that, so that game could last even longer. So I like I said, nobody's wrong on this. It's just that, if people get pissed off because it's a beta, I think I think that just people are just here to bitch, just to complain. I don't understand that.
Mega, do you think?
It's weird.
All right, I'm gonna put on my tinfoil hat real quick. I want to hear what you think about this. Do you think that when people did come out and start complaining, do you think that there's some people out there trying to promote the negativity more because this puts a dent in the armor of Red Dead Redemption 2 in terms of a game of the year?
Yes.
I agree.
There's no question. There's no question. That's the whole thing about with the gaming media. I mean, it's with all media pretty much, to some degree. I mean, there's always going to be people. There's always going to be legitimate, honest media, but there's always going to be also that media that has their agendas, and there are some strong components for God of War. They finally want to see Sony win that game of the year.
And there's a little dent in the armor right there, and they're going to start throwing rocks right at it.
They're going to throw rocks at it, and it's unfortunate, but if anybody here, and that's the thing, and that's where it comes back to what Knox started with that one. When we were talking about earlier, is where there's so many people that hasn't beat the game to experience how great Red Dead is, or even how good God of War is as well.
Dude, that game got me to play it.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, that it is slow, but it's strong story, and that's the power of it. This is the funny thing. We're Xbox guys considered to some of these fanboys out here, right? But you have a game like God of War where you build up your character and he gets all of these powers. It's just dope, right? But then you have a game that you don't build powers, you just buy stuff, but that story is so engrossing.
Yo, check this out.
So good.
Check this out, Mega. Oh, my bad. But Peter Young in the chat.
No.
Peter Young in the chat. He asked, "Why does Rockstar get a pass? They made $1 billion from milking the clients with crap microtransactions with GTA Online." Dude, I agree with you.
I wonder why. I
don't agree.
To play other games like that.
They didn't milk anyone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. No. They didn't milk anybody. You buy it if you want to. They don't even have loot boxes. If they were doing the whole gambling thing, God forbid, the children. We must protect the children, so we don't want gambling.
Right. See, that's already right there. There's already an assumption that Red Dead has got some kind of loot boxes or something that you can buy. There's nothing to buy in this game.
Not yet. But they are going all in microtransactions.
But there's nothing there.
My thing is nobody.
I don't even fuck with the online.
That's what I'm saying. If you don't like it, don't play it. Right? That's my whole thing. I played Call of Duty. What the hell's the shit with Kevin Spacey? Right? With the futuristic shit everybody hated. What was the name of that one?
Oh, I loved Advanced Warfare.
All right, Advanced Warfare. Right? I ended the campaign. You know when that game finished for me? When I ended the campaign. Why? Because I don't like its multiplayer component. I like the campaign. I bought it for the campaign. I thought it was worth the money, so I bought it. And that's that. I don't like multiplayer, so I don't play multiplayer. That's the end of it. With Gears, it's a different story, right? I end the campaign, I enjoy the multiplayer, so I get into the multiplayer. Same thing here. Nobody is twisting your arm to play Red Dead Online. If you don't like it and you don't want to buy a horse for 100 gold, don't do it. Just don't do it.
Yo, Don has no idea what's going on anymore.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I mean, people though, it's one of the things that I mean, I'm pretty sure we're going to talk about that. So, I mean, it'll be a good segue, I guess, to get to talk about these loot crates and shit like that. Like, I mean, yeah, have some regulations for the kids, but for adults, you're grown. Let that person spend the money how they want to. That's how I look at that.
I got you. Yo, well, before we move on, I just want to, like, because I haven't heard from Predator in a while. Predator, do you have anything to chime in on when it comes to the Red Dead Online situation, kind of like the negativity out there while this game is in beta? Do you think it's fair? Do you think Rockstar is basically going to go in and change a lot of things before they take that beta tag off? What do you think, man?
I don't think you're going to change a lot. I mean, but keep in mind, it's an online game, so it's built to grow. So what you see now is what you're not going to see in 2 years if it's still even one of those games people play. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be GTA 5 type caliber where, you know, it's in the top 10 MPDs every single month for 2 years.
Yeah.
But I do think they have plans to kind of, you know, I think they saw what they did with GTA and they're using that as a blueprint on how to keep this game
active.
Yeah, for at least a year or two. And again, we haven't seen like a roadmap for what they're going to do in the future for this game. Mm. It's just, you know, it's just the game right now. And then some online component that again, I haven't played. So I don't know what they're going to do with it. I can see them trying to hold this out, you know, keep it relevant until the next console launches come out. And either if they don't do that and they're working on GTA 6 to release it right for the console.
I think they're already working on GTA 6.
I'm sure they're working on it. I'm sure they have been. But they got this out before the console generation ended, and I can see them doing something like they did with GTA 5 and releasing, you know, re-releasing it again, a different version. I don't know. I mean, now that we have back and pat, it's kind of hard to do that now. But they made a lot of money off of doing that, releasing it and then releasing it again on the new consoles.
So you think they might do that with Red Dead as well?
Again, like I said, it will most likely be back and pat. So I don't think that would even be an issue for them to do it that way, especially on the Xbox side. I don't know what places.
I mean, they can do like with the new hardware that like I think we all feel the same that is coming out in 2020. Eventually down the line, they can do kind of like they can put improvements on it and sell it for like $20-$30 or whatever. People would still buy it, even though you can play it via backwards compatibility. It would kind of
or compatibility, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I don't think they'll do that this gen, but I mean that actually helped them get a shitload of money. Because a lot of people turned around and bought the game again, like, you know.
Yeah.
Like, was that us saying, like, was this us talking about this earlier? From, like, you know, like you bought this game like 3 times, you know, like so.
Yeah, there's people out there with 4 copies. They don't even know why. They're like, I had to buy it again. I don't know. It was there.
Surprised it's not on the Switch, you know. But,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, then you would have stick figures, basically, man. Yeah. I don't know how they would do that, yeah.
But I don't think they're. I don't think that you know they're gonna sit here and leave it the way it is. They've shown a track record of improving their game over time, and what you're seeing now is not what you're gonna be playing.
I don't think so either, man. But I do think there's gonna be a definitive grind in the online experience. There is a grind in GTA Online as well, and that is because they want you to be like, you know what, screw that, I'm getting a shark card. And I think they're gonna have microtransactions in Red Dead Online as well, where you either buy gold bars or something like that, and you can use the money that way. All right, and I mean they made so much money with shark cards that. My bad, Pred. What happened?
I was they'll like come out with a PC release later.
Yeah. But yo, guys, let's move on. K Mega started talking about loot crates. It has been an insane week when it comes to like gaming news, because we're going from, social media kind of like backlashing and stuff like that to now we're even talking about the United States government. Just this past week, a congresswoman, or a senator actually, Maggie Hassan, she is a Democrat for New Hampshire, basically proposed that the Federal Trade Commission investigate video game loot crates. Basically, what she's trying to say is that these loot crates are in so many games, going from mobile to console to PC, that she's kind of she's saying that there is a general correlation between this and gambling. And of course, when it comes to video games, they always talk about the children. So she's kind of putting it out there that this needs to be investigated because kids might get addicted to this and in turn become basically gambling addicts. This is, like I said, a crazy week. Let's go to the Don first. Don, I gotta ask you, do you feel like this should be, this is a proper investigation that really needs to be looked into by the Federal Trade Commission? And what do you think about this relation between loot crates and gambling, man?
Yeah, well, put it this way, I have more faith in individual people than I do in our government, so I'm not really a fan of them being involved in any sort of way. Historically, I have not seen them ever do anything what they've said they would do and follow through with it in an accurate promise. But I will say this, technically it's not gambling, but it's walking close to the line, at least here in the United States. Now, in other countries, it would be defined as gambling. So it just really depends on someone's really view of the whole situation. The thing is, in order to be really gambling, you have to receive nothing for what you're spending, is what it boils down to, and you are always receiving something with what it is. So by the United States standards, that's not classified as gambling, but obviously there's risk and reward there. So it gets close to that. And what those things have value. I mean, how do you determine value, right? Like it's all fake value.
They're putting in the article. They're talking about you do get something to enhance your gaming experience within the games that do have a loot crate. So therefore, you are getting something every time.
Yeah, but let's take Halo for example, right? You can buy the most expensive pack and you get almost nothing but bronzes sometimes, right? Depending on where you're at in the game. Is that you're getting something, but it doesn't really have the same value as some of the higher items. So like you're always getting value regardless. So that's where it gets a little like tricky and a little dicey. And the only reason why this is even remotely an issue is Star Wars. Yeah, there's a perceived value that you're giving it a huge advantage. Every time I play the game, I've never had that experience. And everyone's based upon, YouTube content taking it out of context. Some people may have had that experience, and if they have, I'm not going to say they haven't, but it hasn't been my experience, and it hasn't been most of the experience of people I've talked to has actually played the game. So it's all stemmed from that. EA flew too close to the sun. I mean, it's what it boiled down to.
I gotta say, Ron Pato, I hope I said that right. Ron Pato said the Federal Trade Commission should be investigating Bungie and Bethesda. What do you think about that, Don?
Well, I honestly think the free market's better at regulating themselves than anything else. So people are unhappy with a product, don't buy a product, don't continue to spend money on that product. Is what it boils down to.
My whole thing with this is, all right, and this is me talking as a parent. I don't want the government parenting my kids. I parent my kids.
Well, that comes down to what I earlier said before. I have more faith in you than I do in the government. Because here's the thing with the government: you don't ever know who's ever going to be put in charge down the road.
Yeah,
right?
and there's this kind of like there's this really soft mentality out there that you got to take everything away that offends everybody, or it might not be right for this group. So we're gonna regulate it no matter what group it is. You see what I'm saying? They overly kind of like soften everything. That's like kind of like the main answer to the outcome, and I don't like that. You know what I'm saying?
They have to when they do that, because you're talking about the general public. But you got the general public, so not everyone views everything the same. So you have to dumb it down to the most common denominator, and it's kind of how all that works.
That's dangerous right there. Dumbing everything down to the lowest common denominator. That is a dangerous thing to do in the long run.
I mean, the other thing that also has given it more attention is how much money has been made in microtransaction, loot boxes, that sort of thing. Some of these games, there's more revenue, a lot more revenue stream in that than the actual main game. So,
see, to me, I don't know. Yo, Predator, what do you think about this, man? You got basically the Senate saying that the Federal Trade Commission needs to come in here because loot crates, they're relating that to gambling. Do you feel like this is something that they need to do right now?
No, I think they're just doing this to kind of figure out a way to get some money on their own.
Why do you say that? Because I was thinking that as well, man.
I mean, it's typical government shit, man. Like they see something being profitable, they want to get in on it now and put their stamp on it now instead of trying to do it 10 years from now, before it gets bigger than it really is.
Pred, I want to fill that out. Like, yo, if the government can really relate this to gambling and put it in the category of gambling,
they can because it is.
And if they do that, then they can now tax loot crates and find a way to get the money themselves, get a piece
and that's what they want.
Of that pot.
Yeah, keep in mind, like a lot of laws have passed recently that have allowed gambling on sports. So
even ESPN is talking about like fantasy football. They would never do that before, until like all the reins were loosened in terms of gambling and stuff, man.
And once they can get in that market and they can start kind of tweaking into this market, this is another, it's a Boston Tea Party all over again. So like they're going to tax what they can to get whatever little bit of revenue they can out of it. And I can't sit here and honestly tell you that I don't think they'll win that battle at some point in time.
Well, and there's the thing, it's like it may be a fight because I can tell Knox is going to have a different opinion on this, but by definition, it's not technically gambling right now. So they would have to redefine what is classified as gambling here in the United States. They're able to do that. If they're able to do that, that's where all the legal battles in the past.
You can't just redefine something and then say it doesn't exist. Gamble means right. The definition of gambling is to play a game of chance for money, right? To bet. That's what you're doing. When I exchange money at a game of chance, right? When it's a slot, because it's different, right? For example, like I used Warframe earlier, right? In Warframe, right? You go in, you buy the silver, right? You exchange your money for the silver, so you get in the silver, and then you buy the item you need, right? Whether it's platinum or whatever the hell it's called, you buying that particular item. As opposed to in Battlefront, right, where you are letting a slot machine roll, bleep, 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 and whatever it lands on, that's what I bought for my money. That's gambling, dude.
But you understand you're talking about your definition versus the legal definition. There's a difference there.
It's not my definition. That's my definition is play games of chance for money to bet. That's not me.
But there's no guarantee to get anything from it. You would lose your money.
So what
that's
defines
the hook
this?
that Don's talking about.
Yeah,
it's a game of chance.
I'm giving you the law, so it requires a little bit of listening. So the law is, if you're not going to get something in return, there's no chance of you getting something, or there is a chance, that would be defined as gambling. But if you're guaranteed to get something, regardless of what the value of that item is,
then it's more like it's a digital purchase. Instead.
Yeah, so it's not classified as gambling at that point. So what I'm saying is,
that's crazy.
So you have a different definition, and your views and your values are different. I totally get that. But what I'm saying is they're going to have to change that in order to classify that as. And trust me, there's people in the government that probably are looking at to do that, because your definition is different than the way I'm reading the letter of the law. You talk to somebody else, they're going to define it differently. And so you get this crossroads where people are defining what gambling is slightly differently. And the only reason why it's a conversation is because they're so close to that line.
That's why you see in the fine print, you buy those loot crates. They tell you're guaranteed,
that's their loophole right there.
Item.
You're guaranteed an item.
one gold item, and and
and
two
whatnot.
purples or something
Yeah,
like
and
that.
whatnot.
Then they really need to stop this, because I agree with all of you wholeheartedly. I don't want the government involved in anything of our, because like the Don said, shit, I'll trust everyone else before I trust the government, because it's just right.
I'd rather the government just come out and say, just do away with this. Period.
Well,
Like,
but
No, no, I don't want them getting their fingers into
They're
this.
gonna look.
man.
They're gonna look for their way in the door so they could tax shit. So they don't want what game companies just need to stop it. Just go the route of Warframe. Go the route of Red Dead. Have an even exchange. Hey, you want this horse? It costs $12.
that's what I'm saying.
Just
stop it. If you're gonna charge people for something,
That's
they need
it.
to know what the fuck they're buying.
Well, they're not making as much money that way. That chance right there.
And that's the kicker right there.
And that's the kicker. So it's the exchange. You want the government involved so you can get the extra bucks, or you just want to be upfront with your clientele and just say, hey, you pay this, you get this. If you don't want to pay it, you don't pay it, as opposed to a chance, because that's where I say the whole fine line, like the Don said, right? The whole fine line with gambling. It's a game of chance. They know they're standing to make more money if I keep attempting to get that item, right? Because I want that. I want to hit that jackpot, right? So I'm going to keep putting in $10 and $10 and $10 until I get it.
Once you put a percentage on something, like once you say you have a 3% chance of picking up this item, that's gambling.
But even if you're guaranteed an item and be like, you're guaranteed, like, say, I'm going to talk.
I always say that you have a like, some games don't do that. Some games say, okay, you're going to get a gold item, but you have a 3% chance of getting blank, like this specific
super
item.
Double gold platinum item.
But that's the loophole. That's the thing. That is the loophole. But the thing is, you go into other countries, like what Knox is saying, that definition holds water.
Yeah, because I think I saw an article recently, like I think Germany or Sweden or one of the two.
One of the European countries, really, they're really trying
to
put
in
their
hard.
foot. Yeah, they're trying to put their
Belgium,
foot
I
down.
think. I'm not sure.
It's somewhere in Europe. I don't know where it is.
Damn white people.
It's the Netherlands.
Yo, check this out, guys. We are having a great discussion right now. If you haven't done it yet, hit that thumbs up button. Share this out on social media. Let people know we are tackling the big topics tonight. Yo, Mega, you have been really quiet here. Now, when it comes to loot
He's
crates,
playing video games right now.
No, just waiting for my turn.
When it comes to loot crates, right? I look at what happened with Star Wars, and I think to myself, you know what? The community can take care of this. I feel like we don't need the government in there. We took care of it. We let EA know that we were not happy with what they were doing with Battlefront 2, and eventually they had to change it because they were going to lose money. What do you think about the Federal Trade Commission? And, dude, I'm actually going to hand the reins over to you because I also have to go to the bathroom real quick, man. All right?
All right, cool. All right, so I made a video talking about this the other day, and I agree that, look, even though I think the senator has good intentions, because you do want to try to take care of the children in a sense, because because these are like predatory practices, but there are these special interests, and that's what's always going to win and take over at the end of the day. You have publishers and you have the stock market. You have people that wants to make money, and there's a slippery slope on both ends. So, like, let's say that the government comes in and they do start to regulate it. I agree with everybody. I said this in that video, that the government, there's going to be people that has the good intentions, but the main thing is going to be getting money.
The road
and
to hell, baby.
And the highway to hell. Basically, they want to tax it. They want to get a piece of that, because this is a business that's going to generate $22 billion by the year 2022. This is big business. And how you would try to regulate it is to try to have an age limit, a cap some kind of way. But how are you really going to do that? Because there are some parents out there that are just so damn irresponsible, and they just let their kids just do whatever the hell they want to. They can't let their kids say no. So it comes back to the parenting. It comes back to the point of where that individual needs to take advantage, needs to set their kids straight, or set themselves straight to stop doing it. What Bot said earlier about what happened with Battlefront 2 was absolutely correct. The people decided. Everybody went after that, and they had to change their status quo. But on the flip end, Overwatch still gets away with what they do. Activision still gets away with what they do. So it really the situation overall, it's got to be up to the individual themselves if they want to purchase that game. Because anytime that I seen something on Star Wars, I didn't buy that shit. I just grinded and did it. So if Fred wanted to go ahead and buy Han Solo, yeah, it's kind of fucked up because nobody wants to have no play to win practices. But that's his money. How am I supposed to tell him or have the government regulate him on telling him what he needs to do with his own money? So you got to look at that from that perspective. It just comes down to the individual overall.
No, we can hear you. It's just Mega was on a roll. He's got it.
Muted. Hold on. There we go.
No, we can hear you.
No, I was muted on OBS. So, but so like Mega, my bad. I had to go to the bathroom. I had 2 cups of coffee while we were sitting here talking, through the topics and everything like that. So, do you feel like the Federal Trade should get involved right now?
No. I think if they could, you know what I'm saying, and that's the thing right there. If they could do something to where they could regulate the predatory practices towards children, where children don't get involved into it, then yeah. But how can you possibly do that?
I got a way to regulate that. Do you want to hear?
How can you do that?
Do you want to hear my way to regulate it?
What's that?
The parents need to know exactly what their
I
kids are
that.
playing. Like
I said that. That's the point. Yeah, that's it.
I mean, but some parents, right? Some parents. I mean,
but
you're
that's
right.
their fault, though.
Ultimately, yes. Ultimately, yeah. But there's some instances, right? Like there's a lot of people that, especially a lot of older parents, right? A lot of older people that they don't know how these consoles work, right? They think it's a one-time purchase, right? And their card is just like they don't know that PlayStation or Xbox are saving their data there, or the Switch is saving it there. And then here comes Johnny just charging some other shit. I want that emote. I want to get this.
I know it.
I know you know it. I know it too. Shit, I got my shit all password protected.
Back in the day, I caught my sister. Like she put her debit card on my 360 at one point in time to get something, and I caught her with a couple extra purchases. So I'll feel you on that one, man.
Grandma Jane that's trying to do something for little Timmy doesn't know the difference. You know what I mean? So it's not always that black and white. But yes, ultimately, the parents do have to be on top of this. You know what I mean? They do have to be on top of what their children are doing.
But this is the big conundrum right here is that, okay, let's just say that the government do step in, because there are people that want to, like Pred said, well, they should just eradicate all of that where you pay for that. Well, this is the problem. We as the gamers are going to get hit, and the developers is going to get hit, because where is that? Because that extra money that they get, it helps towards those games. Now, the thing of it, like, there's some I heard on Grown Women Gaming today, where Infamous said,
shout out to GWG, by the way. They had a great show today.
Where she said, well, I would rather just pay $80 for a game and get everything. Yeah, that would be great.
The developers and the publishers are losing money that way.
Are still losing money, yeah. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's the thing. Gamers want games to still stay $60, but then they don't want to pay for loot crates. They don't want to pay for DLC. They don't want to pay for microtransactions. They don't want to pay for anything extra. That's not how that shit's going to work.
Hey, Mega, here's the problem is gamers are speaking for other gamers that may not necessarily have the same view on this sort of stuff. And does anyone know the history of the ESRB? On the panel,
do you? Because not.
Yeah,
I not offhand.
Let me, because it does relate to this. Okay, so the government started getting freaked out about video games and how
Mortal Kombat,
mature content,
and
all
the 90s,
all that sort of stuff. Well,
Gangrene and went after.
Yeah, so what happened? The industry decided to regulate itself to keep the government out. So let me propose this idea, right? So what is the legal age to gamble?
What is it? 18, 21? One of those two?
21. I thought.
Okay, it's 21.
I don't know. My mom had me get
21.
Scratch off.
So
Like
21.
It's 21, but it differentiates by state as well. So, like, I mean, just like when people,
so some are younger, right?
Yeah,
that is true, because in Michigan you can gamble at 18 too. So
it goes 21 to state.
Yeah, so let's do it by default, right? So by default, everyone's going to be, 21 is kind of the legal age. Let's just say because some states are earlier, some states are later. So why not have the industry tied to the ESRB rating in regards to that? And then by that, by that definition, you can't say it's predatory practices towards children. And if you're a parent and you decide to buy something that it's not rated for your child, that's your decision as a parent. In regards to that, and it sidesteps the whole argument: is it gambling or not gambling, right? Because everyone's going to have a different definition of that. Hey, we're just going to tie any game of chance, whatever it is, whatever the rewards are or no rewards, have it tied to ESRB 21. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
No, I mean, yeah, you could put that on the stamps, just like with a food labeling, things like that. Like when it was just talking about the pink slime and all that shit for hamburger meat and everything else. Yeah, you could put a label on it, but again, it still comes down to the person, to the individual's family and to that individual. That's why the way things are, yeah, it's shitty, it's crummy, but I don't want the government saying,
so.
Look,
so as
I
I'm
just don't
saying,
want it to happen like that.
If you tied it to 21 to the ESRB, the industry has self-regulated itself. You have people that are developers and publishers will decide if that's appropriate content because they don't want to get that rating, or they do, right? And they'll make that call. I think that's fair, and that keeps the government out of it because the ESRB has kept the government out of it.
All they have to do, all right, all they have to do to settle this whole thing. I don't even like the fact of the 21 thing. I'm sorry, Don. You are a creative man. You are smart when it comes to this stuff. But all they have to do is put kind of like right next to the ESRB, be like, warning loot boxes in this content. That's it. That's all they have to do.
The problem is then the slippery slope doesn't stop though.
What? Why not? The ESRB will tell you, what age.
That's the thing is you get certain states that'll pop out of nowhere.
Right, and also the fact that won't, and there'll be groups that will even go even further. That I've said that in my video. It's like, look, it's a slippery slope because let's just say that the government gets involved and then they do regulate. And then you're going to have groups that's going to say, well, I don't want DLC in games. I don't want microtransactions in games. And then you got another legislative fight over something that most gamers aren't that don't mind DLC or microtransactions.
I feel
it's just too much. That's why I say the government shouldn't get involved at all.
My bad. This is because I look into other stuff. I am a gamer, but I also look into politics and everything like that. I feel it is an incredible cop-out to use children, all right? Because at the end of the day, I can see that the United States government, in my opinion, they're trying to put that gambling label on this so they can tax it and get some money from it. And they are just using the label of children to get in there in a politically correct way that people are going to be like, oh, we can't touch that. It's for the kids.
That's their foot. That's their foot. Jesus loves the little children.
Wait,
gotta love the children.
No, that's their foot in the door.
Dark, dude, you have been so quiet, man.
I was about to ask, is he still here?
You know why? You know why I've been so quiet is because
we're so loud.
This whole thing. No, well, not only thing is so for so long that it's like the government. They see other governments trying to get in that whole, it being a gambling thing. I don't really consider loot boxes a gambling thing. I consider them more of a chance thing, a chance of getting something good. Because I mean, if you do open up most of these loot boxes, you're gonna get something. When you go and gamble, I don't know about you motherfuckers, but I don't get shit half the time when I go
he
gamble.
leaves the casino.
So, I mean,
yeah.
But who's to say it's not rigged, right? It's just like.
But that's the thing. It might not be. It might be rigged, but it might not be rigged because I mean I have in the past bought loot boxes, and they were for Call of Duty, and guess what? I have gotten good stuff out of them. I have gotten shitty shit out of them, but at the same time, I always felt that like I was doing that out of my own thing, But yeah, I get the whole kids thing. Like, yeah, kids buying these loot boxes, they shouldn't be allowed to do that. There should be some sort of guideline to where they have to put a stop to these younger kids buying these things, because like us adults, if we're buying them, then that's on us. That's not on anybody else. You can't be complaining to somebody else if you're buying loot boxes and you get something that you wanted. So it's just like I think
Yo,
that
my
you can.
my 15-year-old son, when it comes to like microtransactions and stuff like that, there's
But
one.
you put a stopper to it though, right? You don't
Well,
let him
if
get that kind of stuff,
dude,
right?
he earns his own money. He'll do stuff for his
Well, there you
grandmother
go.
and everything like
Right.
that. I will not tell him what to do with his money, but he is learning a valuable lesson. He spent over $300 on a mobile game. A Dragon
Oh
Ball
shit!
Z mobile game where he was basically getting, I guess you could say, a loot crate. It was card packs, right? And he was trying to get certain characters, and he wasn't getting them. He spent $300. You know what I told him? I was like, 200 more. You could have had an Xbox One X, but you have an S right now, and you're looking at my X and you're drooling. I was like, do you see how that works
Yeah.
out? I was like, you need to manage your money more. I feel
But that also comes with the parents though too. Like you're teaching your kid the right way of thinking about money and the right way of thinking of
that's
how
your
he spends his
job as
money.
a parent, man.
And exactly, and people and we gotta admit there are a lot of people who shouldn't have children out there, and a lot of that problem comes from it just being this kind of thing, where they shouldn't have children, or there are, I also agree with the whole fact that a lot of these people probably don't even know anything about these kind of things, like the games and loot boxes. They don't know anything about that. But at the same time, they should
know.
be taking a hold of what their kids are doing, and finding out what they're buying on their credit cards and on their debit cards and things like that. But yes, there are times where kids do get into their parents' credit card or their debit card without them knowing, but there
And
are
that's when you
repercussions of that
own
in the
every
household.
expensive thing
you know?
that they have. You take it away and
Right.
you do whatever you want
Exactly.
with it.
The only thing that I think
Exactly.
that the government should do is if anything, is just make public announcements about it. Just like kind of like with drugs.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying the whole drugs.
That's letting them get their foot in the door. Shout out to Sotius Gaming in the chat. I can't go back to the comment and quote it verbatim, but he put it out earlier. It should just be 1-for-1. That's it. There's no reason for any of that chance shit. Just, hey, you want this, you get this. It costs this much.
No,
Granted,
I agree with you. I don't think there should be loot boxes at all. I think there should be, like, if you
No.
want a skin, you should be able to just buy it. Like, there shouldn't be something that where you spin a freaking wheel and then you get that shit. Like, it shouldn't be like that.
Look,
But
how
it is like that right now
how I
because
look at it is like
the Witcher 3's DLC.
But that's the thing
The Witcher 3's DLC
off
was
of
some
it.
of the best DLC ever made.
I
Right?
get that. Yeah. And
I love
this
it.
is the thing right here. Look,
no quarrels with buying.
this is the thing for me, and I think you guys know where I stand on my political stance. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Rachel Maddow. But
Rachel!
I don't see any motherfucker out there giving two shits about that bum laying on the street because he spent his money at the casino. You know what I'm saying?
Right, exactly.
So why should we give two shits about a parent that don't want to sit there and do their due diligence on
we
teaching their
can't.
kids their business? It's their business. It's their house. It should be overall in the perfect world, things should be regulated properly. But if the government gets involved with it, it's not going to be about just that. It's going to be about something else. So let it be. Let people make their own decisions on it.
But ultimately, we don't want them to get involved, and they will use this to get involved. They will say Jesus loves the little children and use it to get involved, just attached to make that just the means to their end. That's
But
it.
that's
Did he-
the
control.
thing.
did
That's
he
the thing.
say
The
it
government
was
has
tax?
always been trying to get into video games. They've always
They've
tried
been-
to.
they've
They've
been
always tried to
trying.
do something
Yes.
to get into video games and try to deteriorate that market.
And these
And
companies
that's the
greed are,
problem
and these companies greed are opening the door. These companies
Right,
greed are
and-
opening the door.
And that's the problem, and that's why I think a lot of these companies are going to realize that once they let the government in, it's a whole different ball game. It's going to be a whole different type of thing going on there. You're going to have a lot of taxes on a lot of your shit. There's not going to be very many studios. There's not going to be any indies anymore. I'm telling you,
Right.
like these indies companies, they're going to go away. I'm telling you.
Right. Yeah.
If the government
We don't want
gets
that.
involved, it's going to be over.
Right, and we don't even know how this is going to affect those other countries that's doing it, like the Netherlands and Germany and things like that. I mean, look, there are different type of standards for each person and things like that. Like that's why I say it's so dangerous to let the government get involved. But let's move on, man, because I know we've been on this shit for a minute.
Definitely. Let's move on to GameStop, guys.
Is that Fred?
Check
Yeah.
this out.
Fall
Check
asleep?
this out. GameStop has reported a 400 and basically almost a $490 million loss this last quarter. I believe it's quarter 3. Now this quarter, I will let you know, does not include Black Friday. All right, it doesn't include kind of like the holiday shopping and everything like that. It ended kind of like right before I believe November. But they announced that, it basically $490 million loss on that quarter, and their projections for this quarter that includes Black Friday, they are lowering their projections there as well. They're all while stating that physical game sales were up about 12%. Thanks to games like Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2. Not only that, accessories, headsets, controllers were up 32%, which if I was a business owner and something I was selling was up 32%, I'd be like, hell yeah, that's great. But
Right.
at the end of the day, even with numbers showing that they're doing better in certain areas, they're still losing a ton of money. Don, you put this in our DM. I want to know what you think about this. Like, why are they losing money? And do you think we are kind of like looking? We're here watching kind of like the death of GameStop in slow motion, like these last couple of years. Do you feel like this is what's going on, and why?
I think they're a tone deaf company. Is when it comes right down to it. How many times have people been complaining about GameStop, right? How many people, go to GameStop anymore? I know some people do, but I mean, I don't know. It's like every time you go into the store, it's like a garage sale. Like they always have like a basket with all the used games in there. Like how is that a good customer experience, right? How is that a place where gamers just like to go? It's more of like a chore to go in there these days, or you're getting harassed to buy something you don't want. And, like the GameStop's business plan has always been short-term gains, and they never looked at the long term, and they're paying the price for it now. I mean, if I was going to,
you said short term. Hold on, you said short term. So is there like a specific part of GameStop that you're talking about? Because I
just
know
say
where
in
you're
general.
going.
You can link anything to how they treat their customers at the end of the day. How many people talk about, hey, I had a great GameStop experience? Not really a lot of people, to be frank with you. It just kind of was the place to go because it's there and it was convenient, and it slowly evolved into that. And now more and more people, this is also a byproduct of digital success. I would say for some publishers on certain platforms, digital has overshadowed their physical sales. So some companies are up to 60 to almost 70%.
Check this
on
out,
a
Don.
particular platform.
At the end of the day, I have kind of like a theory of what happened here, and I want to hear if you think I'm right and why or why not, and I want to hear it from the rest of the panel as well. When it comes to GameStop, I feel like their stock shares were inflated due to the pre-owned space, pre-owned games. I feel that became the backbone of GameStop because in all actuality, when they sold the pre-owned game, that was all profit to them. They bought that game at a minimal price and they sold it 4 or 5 times the amount that they bought it for. That was all profit to them. And I feel
well, at one point, and this is historically true, GameStop was making more money than EA.
I can definitely see that. At the height of the pre-owned space, I can see that.
It's due to the pre-owned space exclusively, in regards to that. So you get less pre-owned, more people are buying digital, more people are keeping their games, more people are buying games as a service, so such as like, what Xbox is doing with Game Pass, and you have PlayStation now. Sony's got their solution, and you got things like Humble Bundles, and more people are buying. More people play on PC than ever before. Like there's in all gaming's growing, but all gaming's growing in a digital way.
Yeah.
In regards to that. And so, and then you also get customers used to the idea. And I know people hate the term microtransactions, but people are used to, hey, I'm going to get a microtransaction. Am I going to go down to GameStop to go get myself a Xbox Live or a PS Now gift card? Or am I just going to buy it right here on the dashboard? Start buying on the dashboard, and you start giving good experiences to a customer locally, and they don't get harassed. Of course, you're going to go back there naturally because you just don't feel like going to the other place. I mean, everything they've done is for their own personal gain, which you got to do as a business, but you have to do in a way that makes your customers also feel good about the transaction that's going on there. And so, I mean, that's just kind of my take on it. I mean, if you're going to do like a game store, they're doing everything wrong. They need to have everything in that store to be centric towards every type of gamer. Like I'm talking and I don't know how you would do this with televisions because they usually have to carry other televisions you don't want, but carry televisions that have low latency. Make it easy for the gamer to figure out what TV they want. GameStop sells the best TVs because they're specifically designed by the only ones that are designed for games.
That's a huge shift, though. I like it's within the gaming culture.
Yeah, but you do that. Like you build the store around that. You can have an arcade attached to it. You have the reason why people want to go in there in the first place. Probably don't make much money on the arcades. Probably being just enough to keep the lights on, right? Mm-hmm. But it covers the lights, and then more people are in your store, and they're more attempted to purchase a game and be happy about that purchase. So it's just little things like that they could do, make it like a game-centric place for gamers to go buy things, but instead they have their own personal interests ahead of everything else, the bottom line over everything else, and at the end of the day, it's going to catch up to you.
I think in all actuality, a huge shift could possibly right the ship. But I feel like they really kind of dug their own grave with pre-owned games and really stacking all their chips into that and really making the most money that they could off of that, really skimping out on people when people were coming in with games to sell and really only giving them pennies on the dollar. And I have more numbers. I want to move on to Predator here. Pred, dude, did you know that within the last two fiscal quarters, right? Last two quarters, GameStop share has dropped by over $5 per share. Has lost over $5 per share. Dude, what does that mean to you? And do you think we're seeing basically the death of GameStop right now?
You know what? We've had this conversation before. On this podcast, actually.
Yeah.
And we've talked about this. I remember telling you guys, look at their stock from the announcement of this generation till now, and they've dropped, I don't know, I can't remember what it was. I think they're $50 a share. They're down to fucking less than $10 a share or something like that. Maybe right around 15, somewhere in there. It's just
13.66.
Yes, 13.6 I'm looking at right now. In 2013, November-ish, I think they were at about, looking at it, $56.
It was 55. Yep, 55. Okay, 56.
So that's a huge drop. Now going back to 2007, they had a similar. They were up to $60 a share, and they dropped down to fucking $20 a share. And I don't know what happened that caused them to come back. Maybe another console launched, whatever. But by the time 2013 hit, they're back up to $55 a share. So they can't recover. They just have to kind of, probably rebrand themselves a little bit. I think
they've been trying to do that, man. They've been going into I guess you could say gamer geek type novelty items and stuff like that.
That's a good thing for them. I mean, fuck, who said that about having arcades and stuff in there?
That was me. Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to be a selling point for them, but I could see them attaching to something like that to kind of help a little bit. But I mean, I think they're pretty much getting to the point where they're done.
Their reputation precedes them, man. That's
Wait, Pred, do you think they should team up with Dave and Buster's and you can get wings and beer in there?
You know what? That would be honestly, that would actually make sense. You can go there, you can play games, and you can buy games there and buy novelty items in one place. and it would help people come come
They
to
would
Dave.
need a food distribution license and all that good stuff, man. I
Well,
know.
Dave and Buster's has that covered. They can just have a store next to
Oh,
it.
so you
Or,
link them up together, kind
Yeah.
of.
Kind of like how a lot of rental stores used
You
to
know,
have like a
I don't
game
think
area
I think
attached
Dave
to
and
it.
Buster's would be like, you know what? Fuck you. We ain't doing that. Like we're
well,
not
the
going
thing
anywhere
is,
near
there's
you
not Dave
right
and
now.
Buster's everywhere. Like, I mean, they're kind of scattered. Like, whereas GameStops are fucking everywhere. But I remember saying this. I said, give it like I said, they're done. I said, give them 3 to 5 years and they'll fold. And I'm still sticking by that
Brother,
stance.
we here at Next Podcast. I don't like to toot our horn, a lot and everything like that, but we have called out a lot of things that turned out to be true, and we said it really early on this show. I think this is just another one of those cases, bro.
Yeah,
Pred, I want a bigger commitment for you. What I really want to know is one of the big publishers
Mooch!
gonna is one of the big publishers gonna close down first, or GameStop?
like big publisher like who? Give me an idea.
Like
Like a
EA?
GameStop, IGN. No, I'm
Oh.
talking about gaming publishing, like a media outlet.
No, I think we've lost a few already in the past 2 years. I think what we have left is going to be okay for a while. I think
Gotcha.
GameStop will go before, before like VG Charts or some whatever the company owns that shit goes. I think if we were going to lose a publisher like that, it would have been that one. I forgot which one it was. It had to deal with the Hulk Hogan issue.
What?
Oh, that I know who you're talking about. That's Kotaku.
Kotaku, when they
Yeah.
basically got sued and had to pay Hulk Hogan a shitload of money.
Dude, publishers are comfortable right now. If anything is going first, it's GameStop, in my opinion.
Yeah, GameStop's definitely. I give GameStop till maybe 2021 max if they can even make it that long.
Yeah, no doubt. Yo, huge shout out to my brother Mooch, hitting up the chat. What is up, dude? It's good to see you in here. Yo, Dark, man. Now that I know that you haven't left the hangout, what do you think about these numbers with GameStop? Do you think it's only a matter of time? Do you think we're pretty much seeing the Undertaker kind of put that last nail? He's positioning it on the coffin and he's ready to slap it with the hammer. What do you think, man?
Well, this is gonna be my last topic because I gotta go real quick here.
Fine, leave us. He talked about Darksiders. That's all he wanted to talk about, guys.
That's not even the case. But all I gotta say is that I agree with everybody on this panel. I think it's coming to the end, man. I mean, it goes to show you that a lot more people are buying digital. A lot of more people are either they're either just going to Best Buy or Walmart or something like that just to get their games, just because they just don't want to deal with all the bullshit that GameStop has to offer. Like Amazon too, like you just said, Brett. Like, I mean, people just don't want to deal with that bullshit no more. People don't want to be sold stuff. People just want to go into the store, grab their shit, and go. Every time I go into GameStop, every time I go into a GameStop, they're always trying to sell me something. No matter what it is, no matter how many times I've been in there, no matter how many times I know those people and I've talked to those people, they're always trying to sell me something. They're always going like, "Oh, you want to sign up for our Power Up Rewards membership? You want to do this? You want to do that? You want to get the warranty?" I'm like, man, I don't want any of that bullshit. All I want to do is get my game and go home, and that's it. And like.
They're kind of, I'm sorry, Doug, but they're kind of trained to do that, right? It's just like
No, they are.
It's just like
They
the
are.
McDonald's guy's gonna ask you if you want to supersize it. You know what I mean?
And I'm not saying it for the employees. I'm not saying it because of that. I'm saying it because that's their business model to do that. Like to try to get more of a sale on the products that they already are selling to other people. It's just like a lot of people nowadays don't want to deal with that bullshit. That's why their market is going to shit, because of the fact that people just don't like that kind of thing anymore. They just want to go in, get their shit, and get out. That's it. And that's why I think a lot of people are going digital, because they don't have to deal with any of that stuff. They don't even have to leave their home. They could just go in onto their Xbox or their PS4 and just buy the game, or PC or whatever, And PC's been doing that for years. They've just been digital only for a long, long, long time. So I mean, people just don't even leave their house anymore to get their games. It's just it's a different time now. We're in 2018. We're not in freaking 1998 or something like that, or 2000. We're not in that era anymore. We're into 2018, where people are just buying stuff
I
either online or digitally.
Dark. I hear you with the whole digital thing, but I feel that if GameStop didn't put all their chips into buying other people's used games and trying to maximize their profit that way and letting kind of like their profit margins equal out between their console sales, their accessories, their new games and their pre-owned that way, they gave people
Yeah.
more of a fair amount for their games that they were selling to them. I feel like they would be in a lot better position right now than what they're
They
in.
they they probably would be, but that's the thing. Like, I think a lot of people are but I think a lot of it has to do with YouTube too, and the internet and social media, where we're just like a lot of people have a lot of avenues to get to find out about information about a certain company or things like that. And then people start hearing about GameStop and their trade value, and then they hear about GameStop and their shady practices, and then they
Oh,
hear
dude,
about
I
all
used
that
to
kind of
work for
stuff.
them. I used to
and
work for
and,
them,
and then
so.
they watch a lot of videos on people, telling them like, hey, don't pre-order your games, don't do this, and we're not probably like that, but there are a lot of people out there who will see that video and take it to heart and be like, yeah, I'm not gonna go pre-order from GameStop. I'm not even gonna step in a foot into GameStop anymore.
Yo, Dark.
And
Dark,
that's
just
the
real quick,
reality.
in between you talk, I just want to let you know, Ron Pato, who's been on fire, the whole chat has been on fire tonight. Huge shout out to you guys. But Ron Pato, remember in the beginning when I said they're positioning that nail? Ron Pato is like, yo, save the nail, just use duct tape and basically bury him there. Like, that's what he said, yeah. I thought it was
Yeah,
hilarious.
exactly. Save your nails. Duct tape's cheaper anyways. You can just fucking tape them up, and then they'll never get out.
Use
So
duct tape.
it,
Oh my god.
and that you gotta kind of look at it from the perspective of what happened with Blockbuster. Blockbuster didn't go into the Netflix realm, where Netflix was mailing people their movies, and people were getting them, within a certain amount of time. It was just kind of like that Blockbuster was so big headed and thinking, oh, we're gonna be fine, we'll be okay, nothing's gonna happen to us. And then look what happened. They went away. They're no longer anywhere anymore. I think they have
Correction, there's
what?
still one in
In
Alaska.
Alaska.
I think, yeah, that is true. They do have one in Alaska,
I think
but
they still also rent VHS tapes up there. I'm not sure though.
I think they even have a Blockbuster Express kiosk machine somewhere in like Timbuktu somewhere. Um,
Shout out to
but
Timbuktu. Yeah.
but that's the thing, GameStop is going that way, and they're just not seeing the writing on the wall. They're just continuing to do the same things that they've been doing for so many years. They keep thinking to themselves, oh well, we're gonna make it, we're gonna be fine. People are always gonna want to buy games, and it's like, no man, a lot of people are gonna want to buy games, but they're not gonna want to deal with your bullshit.
Yeah, definitely. Well, with all this information coming out, and I feel like digital had a part in this, but I don't feel like it is the major part. I feel like this company basically stabbed themselves in the stomach by really using the pre-owned space, the pre-owned games as their foundation to increase their revenue. Now, K
But let
Meg.
me stop you right now, real quick, before you go to
But
K
but
Maker.
All
before
right.
you hey
Remember?
before you guys get into that, it was fun being on the show. I gotta go, fellas.
Dude, you
Definitely
you are
hit me
in
up
the.
on Twitter. Everybody in the chat, just hit me up on Twitter
Mhm.
at Darkonomus, and on Xbox Live at Darkonomus. So, but definitely fun show, guys. Gotta go. Sorry.
All right, brother, man. Like I said,
Later.
you're in the DM. You can join us whenever, any Saturday, man. No doubt.
Yeah, definitely, bro. All right, man. See ya.
Start.
All right, bro. You see how
Really
professional
quick.
he was? He put in his plugs before he left, man. That's what it's about. Yeah.
Nice.
But Pred, what were you saying, man?
I was gonna say, like, remember when like the X launched and how they were like people had that little scam going where you can like buy games at like Target and you can trade them back into Best Buy. I'm sorry, GameStop, and get like basically like double and triple fucking whatever it was for it. And I was sitting there thinking like, how the fuck are they making money? And they probably weren't. And this is like another testament of how fucking fucked up their practices are. I remember people doing that shit, like just like basically like buying Switch games.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. They were doing some weird trade up thing where
Yeah.
they would somehow pick up these games dirt cheap somewhere that were on sale, and then GameStop was giving more money than they were paying them
actually
for.
worth, yeah.
Yeah, and then they would just go.
I remember
to a
Rand
different
did it. He got
GameStop.
like fucking $600 and he only spent like 300. You know, like
Man, I don't remember that, but that's
Yeah, I
kind of
remember.
crazy. Damn, I have no idea. But yeah, I want to get to K Mega real quick. I want to hear what K Mega thinks about these losses. I know Predator, you got to agree in 2 financial quarters to have your stock drop over $5 a share. That is a major red light, like as a company right there, right?
did you mean me or K Mega?
Well, no, I just wanted like a quick answer from you, just so because people know that you check stocks and everything like that. To have in 2 quarters to have your stocks per share like drop over $5 per share,
It's been consistently dropping though. Like I mean, like the writing was on the wall like fucking a year and a half ago. You know, and it's been that way. Like if you've been watching their stock at all, you would know that
see, I don't do that
dropped
though.
from
And that's
$56 to $6.
That's why I talked to you about this because I don't watch stocks like that. But Mega, I want to hear what you think about these losses with GameStop and what you think their future is. And then I want to change it a little bit to do you think like in all video game store with the way the industry is going, do you think that um they can still exist at this point? Because I know a lot of people buy at Best Buy. I see people talking about, Amazon pre-orders. Your game is in on release day. It's delivered to you and everything like that. Do you think like the all video game like store? Do you think it can exist, man?
It can. I mean, it has to definitely reinvent itself, change it up. But I mean, just out here, we have a place called DC Comics, and it kills in comparison to what GameStop has been. I mean, it's like when I think I was coming home it was right before Black Friday, somewhere around there, and I'm looking at drop outs like 2 GameStops, and they were just dry. Like, I mean, you had like, compared to like you see in Walmart and other places, it just didn't see a whole bunch of people there. Oh, and it doesn't resonate like it used to. I remember I used to go into GameStop and be hyped. And when the last time I did do a midnight launch, pick up a midnight launch game, it was maybe about 20 people there. And I remember there was lines that used to be all the way around the store. It just shows of how everything is different. I mean, not only that, if you are a person that likes physical copies, you can get some off of Amazon. I mean, Microsoft is even selling their shit. You know what I'm saying? So you could get them ordered and you can have it the day of. You know what I'm saying? So they have to do a bunch of changes. Like I said, the DC Comics out here, they do everything. The smallest thing that they do have is hard copy games. Like they have game tables to where you can play your Yu-Gi-Oh and all those other card games. Then they also have like a food area where you can eat there. They have comics, they got posters, they have other little events, they have game tournaments. They got all of that. GameStop has got to do the same type of thing.
Mega, do they have a metal basket where you can pick up physical games with multiple discounted stickers on it? Because that's what I really want.
No, that's not what they have.
Oh, okay.
No. They
Don's
don't have
savage
that.
right now.
I know, and that's the reason right there. Like, I mean, I get more excited of going to DC Comics because they have more things to sink my teeth into to satisfy my gaming nerd, instead of just going in there and then looking at where I could get a game for 10 damn bucks on Xbox or PlayStation, and they ask me for 40. You know what I'm saying?
Well, let me ask you a serious question though. So, like on the Yu-Gi-Oh and stuff like that, are people always playing there and doing that?
Oh man, yeah, they stay. They got so big that they've expanded their store. They were in a little small area, looked like about the size of what a GameStop is, and now they're in this shopping center, and they're huge. Like they're getting they're so popular now, and more people go there to buy a couple of games or to everything else that they got there. You know what I'm saying? They got trinkets, they got
So
the
that
pop-ups, all
interactive
that.
model works, is what you're saying.
It works, right? And that's the thing that GameStop has to change themselves into, is to be more like what DC Comics is out here than what their old model used to be. That's the only way that they're going to thrive. So it's really cool that that it takes some local type of store to bring back that same nostalgia if you want to get out and go. But this old way the old way that how GameStop was running things, it's dead. It's gone. So I mean, it's like I agree with Fred. If they don't do the same, if they don't change their shit in the next couple of years, they're going to go away with the dinosaur like Blockbuster.
All right. Well, Mega, you said that they need to change. You even gave great examples of a business that's actually like thriving in your area. The big question is, do you think they will?
No. I mean, I can't say no. I think that the people that are in charge right now
are arrogant
and they don't, and I don't think that they're true gamers themselves. They're just business people, and you have to have the pulse of the gamer somewhere in that office in order for them to thrive. And I don't think that they have any of that for GameStop. That's why their stocks keeps falling, and that's why they'll eventually probably ruin their own sales, because they're being arrogant, like you said.
Yeah, no doubt. Yo, Knox, I don't think I heard you chime in on this. This is gonna be our last subject, and then we're gonna do the outros and everything like that. Is there anything you wanted to chime in? I know you kind of shared your opinions in bits and pieces, like throughout the whole topic. But is there anything you want to say here? You got the spotlight in terms of GameStop, man.
All right, well, real quick, and just because it just happened today, so it's just the damnedest luck, right? Shout out to my brother Joe Ruckus, the homicidal, and this is my brother, right? He purchased Shadow of the Tomb Raider on GameStop online, right? He got it at a discounted rate. They accidentally sent him Shadows of Mordor. He calls the corporate store. He wants an exchange, but he doesn't want to have to send it back and wait for it to be redelivered. They explained to him that he can go to any GameStop store and exchange it, no questions asked. He goes to the one that I'm going to shout out on 181st Street in Manhattan and Broadway. Don't go to that shitty ass GameStop.
Yo, blast!
All right, put him on blast. He goes over there.
Hey, wait, Knox, what's the phone number?
You know what? I don't have it. Damn, I should have got it from my brother, but that would have been good, right? I should have thought of that. So he goes in. He asked the gentleman behind the counter, "Hey, listen, I was instructed by the corporate store to come here and exchange my Shadows of Mordor for Shadows of the Tomb Raider, which is the one that I purchased." He says to him, "I don't think that we can do that, but I'm not certain." My brother says, "You know what? Bring your manager out here." They bring the manager. The manager comes out. "Nah, we don't do that. We can't do that here, man. I'm sorry.
I was told to come here. What are you talking about?"
He said, "Listen, brother, I was told to come here by the corporate store." He gets on the phone with the Bronx store over here, the one in the Bronx. Now, mind you, this is the 181st and Broadway store in Manhattan. Stay away from that junk pile. He calls the one over here by the Gateway Center in the Bronx, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's looking up the phone number.
Guy over here is telling me that they don't do that. He says, "No, he's lying to you." On the phone, on speaker, he says, "Say that again?" "Yeah, he's lying to you. That manager is dead wrong. He can't do this." Oh, we're so sorry. We're so sorry. We're out of Shadow of the Tomb Raider.
What?
So these are the practices that this GameStop does, but then they wonder why they're losing $488 million. Man, get the fuck out of here.
Yo, no.
I'll cop my shit from the Microsoft store. That's it, man. PSN, whatever. At least PSN puts it back in the wallet.
At least, yo, PSN kind of crazy though.
They keeping your money. They holding on to it. But damn, at least you can exchange it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Guys, don't mind me. I'm also putting the poll up for the gameplay. Let me see. We're gonna go Xbot first for no rhyme or reason. I'm just putting as I go here. We'll put, let's see, Knoxximus. Oh, I hit an I for some reason. Let me add one here. Let me do. Let's see. How about Dusty Don? And
Do you want me to win?
L Mega. There
As
we
you see
go.
me put, as people seeing this gameplay, as me putting work on this Valkyrie, something you would
Dude,
never
I got
do.
a lot of people talking about my Dante's Inferno gameplay in the chat. I don't
I
know
had
if you
people
saw
talking
that
about
or
my.
not.
Oh, I saw it, and they got people talking about my Power Stone 2 while
So,
I beat the final boss.
We got Xbot, we got Nox, we have the I'm gonna take that. I'm not gonna put Dusty. I'm gonna be nice. All right.
You're just afraid I might win with that.
Oh, now since you said nah.
It's up to you, man. It's your poll.
All right, the Don Omega. I think I got everybody. Yeah, Dark didn't do anything. So, guess what, guys? The poll is up. It is on Twitter. If you're not following me, it is at xbot448. I am going to pin it right to the top of my profile. Go ahead and vote for who you thought had the best gameplay for
Knoxximus.
tonight. Nox and Dark was saying that there's some type of conspiracy going on. Maybe we're gonna have to do a live stream later on, and you and Dark can clarify, exactly what you're talking about. But
We're gonna have to expose you guys.
yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Oh man.
But on that note, guys, I think we had an awesome show. These were topics that don't necessarily come around too often. I mean, GameStop, yeah, but to see how much money they're losing is absolutely ridiculous. Seeing the government trying to, get in there in terms of a feature that's in gaming, kind of reminiscent about, going back into the 90s, like Don said with the ESRB. Red
Going
Dead.
into the 90s.
I just think it was an
My
awesome
art
show.
talent.
As usual, the chat has been absolutely on fire. Huge shout out to you guys. I love the fact that YouTube now has the chat. When people go back and they check out the show, if they couldn't make it live, they get to see exactly what you guys were saying in the chat. So you are a part of this show as much as everybody on the panel is. And I really think that's a cool feature. As usual, guys, if you want to support this channel, you want to support this show, you can either hit up the Super Chat whenever we go live, or I do have a PayPal link in the description if you want to be, incognito. But on that note, guys, we got to get the outros out. Let's start with the Don. He came in, he put in gameplay, and we're gonna get his outro, dude. What are you up to? Anything you want to let people know about? And of course, you got to let people know where they can get a hold of you to talk games, man.
Well, I don't know where I'm going to be next or when I'm showing up next. It is literally, who knows what's going to happen. But that being said, there are things going to be happening on my YouTube channel at the beginning of this year.
We heard this before, Don. We heard this before.
Well, the difference is I already have a backlog of videos. I just haven't made them live yet. So those will be on time release as of January 1st. So
nice.
Look forward to that sort of thing. But outside of that, just follow me on Twitter, which is the Don_KTR. Vote for gameplay. Doesn't matter who you vote for. Just vote who you want to. And I'll probably see you guys in a month.
See, who you want to is actually my middle name, so it's vote for Xbot. I got you, brother. Next on the list, of course, Dark. He already left. You can check him out on Twitter. I believe it is Dark Optimus at Dark Optimus. I believe I have it in the description. Oh, do I have him? No, he's not in there. All right. Well, it's at Dark Optimus. Damn, I thought I was doing something cool. I thought I already had it there, but yeah, follow him on Twitter. Next on the list, let's go. Predator, dude, what are you up to? I believe you did a guest appearance this past week. If there's any more, on your list, what is going on, and where can people talk games with you, man?
Yeah, I was on K Mega's show last night. He kept me up late, had me tired as fuck this morning. Predator_HOS on Xbox, on PlayStation, on MySpace, and on Steam.
Dude, I gotta work on that logo. Yeah, I gotta work on that logo, man.
Other than that, man, I'm gonna be on Assassin's Creed probably the rest of the night. Then back to some Battlefield. Maybe I'll check out this Red Dead online this week and get some of that gameplay in or something like that. But you guys know where I'm at. Just find me on Xbox, where I'm at most of the time.
Nice, brother.
Cowboys.
No, dude, I'm a Giants fan. Don't do that here. Yeah, huge shout out to Yobi in the chat. Hit up that super chat. He's like, first time Basically this was his first episode. It is good to see you here, man. He's like, he's gonna hit me up next week for the SNES Classic. Thank you, my brother. We gotta get a hold of each other. If we're not following each other on Twitter, we definitely gotta do so. This way we can get a DM started or whatnot. So I don't know if you want to tweet out to me, and then I can add you on my friends list or whatnot. But thank you for supporting the show, my brother. Next on the list, let's go to the Rookie of the Year, the man whose YouTube channel is on fire right now. He is about to hit his first 100 subs. If you haven't done it, you gotta sub to this man's channel, Knoxximus. Let him know about your channel and let him know where they can get a hold of you to talk games, my brother.
Yeah, man. Whenever y'all wanna, holler at the kid, you can definitely catch me on Twitter at the Knox. You know what I mean? Come drop by weekly at In Knox We Trust right here on YouTube. Also on Saturdays on right here, the next podcast. It's always awesome, man. I love talking games. The channel's on fire. Shit is hot. Loving it. You already.
Nice, brother. Yo, Mega. We saw each other in the GWG chat earlier this morning. I tried to get messy with you. I think you didn't see what I was saying, so I'm just gonna let that roll. But let people know what is going on with your channel this coming week, and let them know where they can get a hold of you, my man.
Oh man, you can check me out on the GRG podcast every Friday night. 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, and 6:30 Pacific. You know what I'm saying? We downsized a little bit, so you know what I'm saying, be looking to try to get some people. If anybody interested want to come in and be guests of the show, just hit me up in the DMs. You're more than welcome. You know what I'm saying? It'll be great, be fun. Also, you can catch me on here. You know what I'm saying? Just doing this thing. I'll be starting to back streaming again once I get my PC the way that I want it, and pretty much
got AIDS right now, right? Virus.
Yeah. It was more like Ebola. It works. You call it, Ebola.
That's the gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah, man. So it's having its problem. It still functions, but not the way that I want it to.
Wait, Mega, are we doing Sea of Thieves tonight?
I mean, we can do Sea of Thieves tonight. That's fine.
We can stream that.
Yeah, we could do that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm still jonesing to get on some more Battlefield. I mean, I want to get on this Assassin's Creed, but I mean, I'm going to have to just play some Battlefield. I'll play some Sea of Thieves or whatever. But yeah, man, glad to be here, man. Come check out my channel. You know what I'm saying? Sub. Take care, Mega 45, man. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Guys, it is official. Not only is the chat out there on Twitter right now saying what a great show we did, but we got the Jamie Moran seal of approval on Twitter.
Nice.
This show is officially fire. Yo, guys, again, thank you guys. Guys, thank you for all the support. I really do appreciate it. Seeing everybody in the chat, having fun, talking games, joking around. That's the most important thing on this show. We like to bring something to the table. We like to try to give you the most entertaining and informative gaming podcasts that we can. And it is great to see all the support. But guys, it is Saturday night, man. The gamers got a game. I got to get the controller in my hands. Yes, I have a confession. I am back on Destiny 2. I'm probably going to go back in there. I'm going to go back in there. I got some new gear I'm really happy with. I'm going in, doing crazy things in that game. But I'm going to end the show the way I end it every week. We will check you out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Peace.
No, none of that. None of that. Huh?
No.
Oh, later.